Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about excavation safety and the new photo process that we have for our foremans and our job sites. We're going to be going over a little bit of the one call and then also photo schedules and showing some examples of good and bad photos that we need of your job sites daily. Everybody knows a little bit about one calls, so we're going to kind of briefly go over this. If you have any questions at all, you can always contact me here, or you can contact Skylar or Katie about the one-call tickets that you have for your job sites. If you want some down and dirty information, you can also go to call811.com. Go to 811 in your state, click on the state that you're working in, and it'll give you a description on the 811 or one-call requirements for that particular state. Once again, 811 is the law, so having a one call is required for every job site that we're going to be doing any excavation on. If you don't follow the rules, we can have some damages. We can also have some fines that are associated with not having a one call that's valid. We want to make sure that we have a valid one call on our job sites. They have to be physically on the job site, either in a paper form or in a digital form. We need to set up these one calls. They're all determined by the state that we're working in on the amount of notice that we need to give them. They also have some information on how long those one calls are valid for. They also talk about if you're not going to dig within, for some states, for example, 10 days, you need to do a one call again. Make sure that you renew these one calls before they expire. If they have expired and the renewal is not completed, the excavation and the work needs to stop. When you're digging around tolerance zones, these are the zones generally 24 inches from the edge of the excavation. You need to use shovels or what they call soft digging methods, which would be vacuum units or hydro excavation. Now remember that these one calls are always considered approximate location of utilities. So we need to make sure that we verify these locations prior to excavation. Make sure that we either visually or use a probe rod or something like that to physically determine where that utility is before digging. Don't just go off the line locates. When you're looking at your utilities, you can also look at the universal color coding requirements. As you can see over here in the right-hand corner of the screen, these will kind of give you an indication of what's in your area and what you're dealing with. If utilities are found and they're not marked correctly, we need to make sure that we stop our excavation. We call 811 again, let them know. Contact the utility directly if we can. And then also we need to make sure that we let them know that we found their their utility, and have them come out and remark the lines. This is why it's extremely important that we take photos before the job begins of the markings on the job site. If we don't have these photographed and documented, if we find a utility that was not marked, it kind of comes on us as well. So we want to make sure that we do document this. If for some reason they're unmarked, once again, we need to call 811, look for any kind of missed markings, and take photographs of the site. We can also do what's called emergency one calls. Those are always set up state by state as well. Generally, they'll give you a lot quicker response time. These are good for like releases or something like that. In conclusion, remember that we always have to have a one call on site. Make sure that it's valid for the dig site or job site that we're working on. Remember that all these markings are considered approximate locations. Never dig within that tolerance zone or that 24 inches with any kind of powered excavation equipment such as track hoe or a backhoe. Use soft digging methods like hand digging or hydro excavation in those areas if we can. Now, what we're looking for are photographs of the job sites. And we're going to go through some proper photography techniques and kind of what we're looking for. We're also going to show you some photographs that aren't relevant or unneeded. So, for example, right here we're looking at this particular job site. You can see that there's multiple lines in the area. This is what we're looking for. These are good photos right here. It's showing the lines in the area. It's showing something in the background that's giving us reference to where these lines are. It's giving you the paint, the stakes, the above ground markers, and the pin flags. Once you take an overall job site photo of the markings, you might want to move closer and get individual photos of the lines. If there's multiple lines in the area, you might have to pan to the left and right to make sure that you encompass all the markings. You can also go to the other end of the job site, looking back toward the area you were just at. Once again, taking photographs, trying to make sure that you're getting all the markings within the photo and something as a reference in the background. In this photo, what I really like about this one was it actually had the address of the home or dwelling in the background, good reference points. Also, your cross streets on where you're standing at as well. If you can, use something to establish a scale, something that is a known length in the photographs that'll kind of help determine how far apart their markings were and so on and so forth. If you're dealing with something that has a stake, it might be a good idea to take a photo of the stake with the writing on it. That way you can determine what it was for. If you take a close-up shot, make sure that you also take one farther back with something in the background as a reference. As you can see where the tree line is and also where this house and dwelling is in the background. Sometimes you can also take aerial photos or photos that are taken from Google Earth. These are good indications of where you've been working at, and sometimes the utilities that are also in the area with you in the work site. So those are some good photos. We're going to go through some photos that are not adequate. So for example, a photo like this doesn't show us anything. It shows us a pin flag, it shows us some markings on the ground, but there's nothing to reference it off of. This photo could be taken anywhere. It doesn't help us out. Same thing with this one, right? It's not showing us any reference. Some photos that we can take at the job sites. These are going to be some examples that you might want to take heed of. A photo one would be of your one call, right? Make sure that you note the date and time, the location of the dig, and the work and the clients that are going to be in that area you're going to be working in. If you have alignment sheets, locators, maps, or as-built drawings, these also could be good indications of utilities in your area. So for example, you can look at this legend over here on the right-hand side. It'll show you where some valves are, where some overhead power lines would be, right? These are good things to look at. They should be able to help you determine what you need on your job site. Make sure you get good photos of the one-call markings. Make sure you get all the markings in the job area, so the work area. Try to get something that's good verifiable information like cross streets or buildings or addresses in the background. Try to get pictures of the utilities as you excavate around them. If you see, for example, you're daylighting and you come across some utilities, take photos of where those utilities are, the depth, and then a condition that they're found in. You can also take pictures of the dig sites or the excavations. As you can see in this photo, we do have probe rods along the length of the excavation and maintaining that good tolerance zone. You can also take photos as you're hand digging around that tolerance zone, just showing that we're doing our due diligence to protect the utilities in the area. I also like to have photos showing what the line looks like once it's excavated and uncovered. Any work that's going on the job site could also be documented, like welding, removing of coating, sandblasting, and then once it's recoated. What the job site looks like at the end of the day as you're backfilling could be a good photo as well. And then, of course, restoration of the work site once you're completed. Some other photo considerations, any other utilities that have been exposed, if any cave-in protective structures have been in place or put in place, any changes in the excavation such as cracks, fissures, or groundwater, visual representation posts such as like 2x4s or something like that you put in there if you had to backfill those utility support structures such as skids, or if there's a utility that crosses over that excavation, how you supported that structure, any utility damage you might come across, especially if it's pre-existing, line strike damage caused by us, any installation of utility protection such as ditch tape, concrete barriers, or rock shield. But really what we're looking for are at least 6 photos a day. We're looking for 2 photos in the morning before work begins. We want 2 photos around your lunch period, either before you go to lunch or after you come back from lunch. And then we also want 2 evening photographs. So at minimum, we want 6 photos each day. Now, what are you going to do with these photos? As you take the photos, either with your phone or with your tablet, we want you to go ahead and insert them with your timesheets. So when you go to your field tickets and you go to your field ticket dashboard to enter your tickets, you'll go ahead and create a new ticket. You'll put in your date, your project, and your phases, and create a new ticket. Once the new ticket appears, you'll see this job information. This will be the first section on the form. You'll click to expand it. And then down here in the bottom, you'll see this drag and drop or click to attach. This is where you will drag and drop or click to attach the photos that you've taken of the job site. So if it's on your screen, you can drag and drop them and they will attach. Or if for some reason you have them saved on the device, you can also click right here. It'll pull up this section here where you can either go to your PC or your desktop or your pictures or photos, wherever you have them saved at. You'll then select what photos you want to attach. For example, the Sam_1875. You'll click open, and you'll see that that photo will attach to that timesheet. Once you have all 6 photos or however many photos you have for that day attached, you'll continue on with your timesheet, adding employees and hours. Once the timesheet's completed, you'll come down here and you'll click Submit Ticket, and that ticket will be submitted along with the attached photos. We'll be able to go back in and look at these photos as we need to. Now, don't think that we're just using these to spy on you. We're basically using these as learning tools going forward. So, once again, add your 6 photos or however many you have here to that drag and drop, and then submit your ticket as you would daily. Thank you.